The President of the United States is attacking a Republican's dead wife on Truth Social because the Republican wanted to vote to release the Epstein files. One more time, the president, who is supposed to be a role model for every single American, for countries across the globe, is not a role model at all. He is making fun of the wife of somebody who simply wants to release the Epstein files. He's acting as if he has the moral high ground on somebody getting married more than once when he has multiple failed marriages. Not only did he cheat on probably every single wife, but also he was so closely tied with Jeffrey Epstein that his second presidency will largely be defined by the Jeffrey Epstein files being pried out of his hands. I'll read this post in just 1 second, but did you guys know this is a real photo? This is like genuinely a real photo of Donald Trump and President Bill Clinton. I thought it was a meme at first, and then I did more research, and this is a real photo of Donald Trump grabbing President Bill Clinton. Two of our presidents here, just lovely to see, made all the more worse by the leaked emails coming from the House Oversight Committee, where Mark Epstein asks Jeffrey Epstein, quote, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Bubba, of course, is a nickname for Bill Clinton. Honestly, I think they were being rather tongue-in-cheek here. No pun intended. They were joking about you and your boy Donnie T. You mean Donnie D. You guys can make a remake of the movie Get Hard. I believe they were being tongue-in-cheek here, but overall, they weren't being tongue-in-cheek when Epstein was talking about having leverage over Donald Trump. And here's the point that I want to make. When you corner a rat, or when somebody's cornered, they begin to thrash out at everything around them. Donald Trump's method of thrashing out is trying to divert attention away from issue A over to issue B. A really good example of this would be the No Kings protests. A few weeks ago, when we were all doing the No Kings protests, I guess October 18th was a date. All of the news headlines were talking about how he had overreached with executive power and the American people were unhappy. They were negative headlines. Everybody was talking about how we can actually overcome this. And then he posted an AI video of himself pooping over a bunch of Americans. And people didn't understand why he would post something so absurd. But the headlines for the next 3 days, the headlines for the next 5 days were dominated by his video. Why did Trump post this? Why would the president post this? What the hell? And it diluted the core message. That's what Donald Trump's trying to do with these posts. So we are going to continue to cover Epstein relentlessly. Right after this, we're going to make a video about his economy failing and the Epstein files. So make sure you're subscribed to the Adam Mockler feed below. But he posted 24 hours ago. Did Thomas Massie, sometimes referred to as Rand Paul Jr., because of the fact that he always votes against the Republican Party, get married already? So he's basically saying, did Thomas Massie get married already? Boy, that was quick. No wonder the polls have him at less than 8% chance of winning the election. Anyway, have a great life, Thomas, and question mark. His wife will soon find out that she's stuck with a loser. And even the official Trump Twitter account got fact-checked. Massie's first wife passed away in June 2024. They had been married for over 30 years. I believe almost 35 years. They had been married steady. They had 4 children together. Thomas Massie was faithful to his wife for 35 years until she died of cancer, until she passed away. He married then a Senator Rand Paul staffer, and now, after a year and a half, they are trying to rebound in their relationship. You can say that it's weird or that this or that, but I think that sometimes people grieve differently. You shouldn't be attacked by the President of the United States, especially a president that has been married multiple damn times and cheated on every single wife. But Republicans weren't really happy about this. Trisha Hope, a Republican delegate from Texas, said, I am no longer entertained by this man. I am beginning to find him repulsive. Chief Nerd, this is a big MAGA account on Twitter. A big MAGA account on Twitter said, regardless how you feel about Massie, this was really below the belt. Sarah Stock, who I debated coming up in my Jubilee, said MAGA is dead and Trump killed it. And it's another example of Donald Trump withdrawing his support and endorsement of, quote, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. He puts Congresswoman in quotes. This dude is petty, vindictive, and this style of politics that has been seeping into the mainstream since he entered in 2012, saying that Obama wasn't born in America, is now being targeted at Republicans. Remember back in World War II when there was the Night of Long Knives or whatever, when Hitler began to attack all of his core people, all the people on his side, so he could weed out any dissent and have the strongest, most loyal crew. Donald Trump seems to be weeding out Thomas Massey, seems to be weeding out Marjorie Taylor Greene. Anybody who doesn't push his core message of protecting pedophiles, I guess. But then Sarah Stock says MAGA is dead and Trump killed it. James Fishback, a MAGA commentator, quote tweeted the Rapid Response account and said, "This is utterly disgraceful. People don't like when you attack wives, especially dead wives." White House then calls Epstein's story another Democrat plus mainstream media hoax. Trump keeps vacillating from calling the story a hoax, saying there's nothing to it, to then saying there is a lot to it, but it's only Democrats. It's only people like Larry Summers and Bill Clinton who are involved, which is inherently contradictory. Chris Murphy then clarifies Trump is in daily panic mode over the Epstein files.
You're an interested party here. What is your take on how this is playing out and why he's acting in incredibly guilty fashion?
Well, he is in daily panic mode as we get closer to the moment where these files and the fullest truth that we have available to us is going to be made public. And it is clearly the biggest scandal in presidential history. And he wouldn't be acting this way if he wasn't so deeply worried about what sits in those files. What we've already seen is immensely incriminating. Clearly, Donald Trump was at the center of a child sex ring. That is heartbreaking, that the President of the United States was involved in that kind of gross, craven immorality. And it stands to reason that he wouldn't be fighting so hard to spin against this story or bullying Republicans in the House to prevent the release of these files if there wasn't something especially and specifically incriminating in that information. Now, I think the scandal in and of itself could bring him down, but we also do have to contextualize it, because what Donald Trump is all about is protecting the rich and powerful and stealing from normal people, regular middle class and poor folks, in order to enrich the rich and powerful. And this is very much part of that story. Yes, I am sure that there are both Republicans and Democrats named in those files. There are powerful people on both sides of the aisle, but what Trump is all about is, not really playing a game based on politics, but playing a game based on wealth and influence. If you have wealth and influence, Donald Trump is going to protect you, and that is consistent through everything he has done during the first 9 months of this administration.
Everything he's done throughout his entire life is abusing power dynamics, which is something I've been talking about a lot. He does not care. He is rich. He is powerful. He will use it to fuck you over, whether you are a contractor, you are a girl, you are a young girl, you are a woman who is in his orbit. He will use it to fuck you over. I'm going to leave it there. If you appreciate the videos we make, drop a like, subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed. Peace out.